Hey guys, what's going on? It's Trinity Volk here, and we're going to talk about some shit that just doesn't exist anymore in 2D fighters that is in City of the Wolves, that are the reasons I fell in love with this genre, and I want to talk about it. So, City of the Wolves, I am realizing now, I think what it comes down to with this game and why it's failed, it's had a failure to launch essentially, which is too bad. People have tried to blame this on the guest characters. I don't think that's the problem. I think the real problem is that this is like an old school fighting game with the old school design philosophy of the minimum competency requirement to play the game is astronomically high compared to MK. And it's definitely higher than Street Fighter 6. So in what ways is this true? Well, part of it has to do with how, the game has, or the game is full of what I like to call a precision-based competency check. So what do I mean by that? So let's look at Andy, right? So Andy Bogard is the character I'm kind of settled on. He's kind of an interesting Akuma-like in this game. And his demon flip has something that's interesting, right? So he has a low, classic demon flip low. He has a throw, just like you'd expect from demon throw. He has overhead chop, but it's a cross-up overhead chop. Okay. And then he has a same side overhead, like this. So I want to talk about the overheads, because the overheads are interesting. So why are the overheads interesting? The overheads are interesting because you can combo off them, but only if you get you get a perfect height light kick from the demon flip. So if I do it as high as I possibly can, right, I'm like sort of plus, right, but not that plus. However, if I do this at the maximum drop height, I get +6 on hits, which gets me right there. As you can see, like, if I'm not perfect, I just whiff. Like, as you can see, I'm like struggling to even hit this. There we go. Get a full combo if you get the maximum drop height overhead. Right? It applies to this one too. You get the same result. But in this case, you have to measure it by distance too, man. So not only do you have to do the maximum optimal drop height on the cross-up overhead, you have to space it too. You have to space it perfectly to get this to work. This is the kind of thing that you used to have to do in fighting games all of the time. Like, people in Street Fighter 4 had to sit there and practice what seems like stupid shit like this all day long. You would sit there for hours to do this. Now, does it have to be absolutely perfect to get that +6 on hit? It doesn't have to be, right? But I get much less reward. So, if I take like... So, what happens is, I get close heavy punch if I get the optimal drop distance, right? But the suboptimal, which is easier, I get light kick, right? So, light kick... It's good, but it's much less rewarding. see if I can... I get 210 damage compared to... You know, like 250 minimum. Right? I didn't do the optimal there. Right, I didn't even do the optimal. This kind of stuff is what I miss about fighting games. It's definitely something that it's never been MK, I'm gonna be honest with you. There has never been any of these competency checks that are required to even unlock your character's potential in an MK game. Instant air gas blast from Cabal might be the closest thing that's ever existed to it. And the same thing goes for like the demon flip low. I get hella frame advantage, which also gets me this, right? So, if I can get this right. It's a combination of like, because you have some room to input blow combined with spacing, right? But I can, if I get a perfect demon flip blow, I get a combo off of it as well, right? Now I could just take like the EX version, which always gives you at least a knockdown, right? Hey, you can rev cancel it, right? So I can do EX demon flip low at least, and then do EXTP or something like that. But either way, right? So Noah's here. Either I have to have precision to get reward without requiring resources, or I have to dump resources to get any reward, right? So if I want to like, let me see if I can show that off again. Like, this work? No, I have to do DP. Yeah. So, in order to get a worthwhile reward off of my demon flip low, without execution, without practice, and without any kind of preciseness to what I'm doing, I have to dump resources hardcore, right? Now, Garo uses like an inverse smear system. It's similar to Street Fighter 6 in that there's a burnout system, but the burnout system is dictated by how much you use your moves, and not your moves are dictated by the resource. So like if I reach 100% overheat, that's what it's called, I'm in a burnout state, right? So I have to cash out 40%. Hold on. I had to cash out 40% of my heat limit in order to even do that, to make it easy to confirm off of. I really miss this kind of stuff about fighting games. When people talk about execution, like, people think about inputs and shit, that's not really what the execution was that mattered. It's stuff like this. How consistently, with Andy, can I do perfect maximum drop distance overhead for +6, so I get my heavy punch optimal confirm, right? And I have to spend hours practicing this. This is the kind of shit that hooks people about Street Fighter 4. And in some cases, I do think the accessibility of fighting games is a good thing, in the sense that people can have a minimum level of character efficiency through that, right? I think that's great. But I don't like it that the highest level is not gated behind things like this. And this is also character specialist stuff that I just don't feel like... I don't know, it annoys me it doesn't exist anymore, and it makes the games boring too. Like, things like this is a thing you will almost always be improving at, and which you still also have to manage to do in the Hiva match. but you get my point. I miss this kind of stuff about fighting games, man. I've started to learn this game. I think it's interesting, and like I said, I haven't started playing it for real, but I do know that has definitely been something that people have been turned off by this game, is that it's kind of got old school defensive power, and that like damage is low. You can't just nuke people off jabs, you know, like I talk about in MK. The most you're getting off of a jab, like mirrorless especially, is like this. Not much at all, right? Like even if I dump, right? So like that required one super bar, 26% overheat. Right? That's a lot of resources in this game, by the way. That's a lot. So, yeah, I'm just curious what you guys think, but, like, I miss this stuff about fighting games, man. It's definitely one of the worst parts of the modern era.